So we're going to come to laying on our mat. However you get down to the ground, just be comfortable and cautious. You don't want to just plop down, but give yourself the opportunity to come down to the ground, laying on your back body. You can bring your knees together and keep your feet on the mat if that feels more comfortable for you. But if possible, bring your legs all the way down to the mat, straight. Either way works, but just for the sake of dropping into the class, dropping into the breath, the full length of the body, start your breathing, imagining that the breath can make it down to the feet. And on the exhale, that the breath leaves out the nostrils. Inhale, breathing in, feeling the full length of the body to the feet. And then exhale, releasing the breath through the nose. Start to relax, giving your body permission to feel supported from the mat beneath you. If your hands are by your side, you can keep them there, or you can bring them up to your belly just to start feeling the rise and the fall of the breath. You're also welcome to make any adjustments as you're laying here to get a little bit more comfortable. You're just starting to tune in to your senses, the way your body feels, and even your emotional side. If there's anything that you can let go at this point, please let it go through your next exhale. And we're going to take about 5 more breath cycles, completely here and supported on the mat. On your next inhale, take your hands and stretch them over your head. See if you can lower your legs down if your legs have been bent and extend the feet out, flexing the feet, allowing the heels to press towards the one end of your mat while your arms and your hands stretch towards the other. And just like when you're waking up in the morning, feel this full stretch in the body. And then bring the hands down by the side, pressing your fingertips into the mat beneath you. I want you to use this for support as you bump up on your legs, bringing your knees up towards your chest. And we're going to come and just start out by hugging the knees, taking our arms, wrapping them around the knees, and just kind of wiggle back and forth a little bit to loosen the lower back body. Keep your head and your back matted onto the ground. And feel the breath. Feel the breath extend the chest towards the knees. And on the exhale, the knees sink towards the chest. You don't have to do anything else. But if you do want to wiggle a little bit further back and forth, you can. Maybe a little bit to the left and the right. Only if it's in your practice to do so. You're going to keep your right knee tucked into your hands. You're going to move both your hands, your left and your right, and shift it onto the right knee. Dropping the left leg down to the ground. The right knee stays up towards the chest. And gently start to just use your breath to bring that knee a little bit closer towards your armpit. keep stretching the left leg away from the body. And then on the next inhale, lift up on that knee and start to just rotate the leg around in a circle. Keeping the grip on the top of the knee body, right where the foreleg, where the shin meets the knee. And then using the thigh and the hips to help you revolve a circle, like a rotation around the leg. Now we're going to reverse. We're going to bring up our left knee, right leg goes down. Bring that left knee up towards the left armpit. Stretch the right leg away from the body. Start to breathe in and out. And then start with your rotations. Again, allowing there to be support with your interlaced fingers on the top of where your knee and your shin meet. And then using your hips and even some strength from your belly body to help you just revolve that leg in a circular motion. And then pause. We're going to bring both legs back up, hug those knees back into the chest, and extend the legs back down to the ground. And just pause for a moment, noticing what that little bit of movement and stretch has just done for our bodies. On the next inhale, you're going to bring the knees back up again. But this time, I want you to just shift your right hip out towards the right side. Kind of start to bring your knees over towards the left. So your right hip is poking out to the right, but your knees, your right and your left knee, are now to the left, and they're just going to gently come down to the left side. If you like, you can continue to look over towards the right and extend out the right arm, but you don't have to. And also your knees don't have to touch the ground. So if they're hovering, that's fine. And breathe. Using the breath, breathe in deep. Imagine that that breath again is making it into the feet body, and as it does so, it kind of touches the right side and the right hip. Any places that you feel any stress or tension, allow the breath to settle in. We're going to squeeze the core, come back up, drawing the knees back into the chest. And then we're going to pivot so that our left hip is now poking out towards the left side. And then our knees are going to drop over towards the right side. Same principles, using the breath, breathing deep into the feet body, using the breath to support any parts of the body that maybe require a little extra tender love and care. If you want to bring your left hand straight and look over your left hand, you can. Breathe in and out. And if you like to close the eyes, you can. Your eyes are open, just keep your gaze fixated on one place in front of you. On the next inhale, we're going to unwind, bringing the knees back into the chest. And just hug the arms around one more time. And we're going to take our left leg, and we're just going to tabletop that leg. Our right foot is going to lay on top of the left thigh, and we can bring our fingertips, weaving them. Our right hand weaves in between the legs. The left hand comes to the outside, and we just hook around the back of the thigh. And this is modified half pigeon. You can stay just like this. Or you can move your fingertips up so that it's right above the shin. Fingers remain interlaced. If you want to kind of wiggle back and forth, that's also completely valid, being that the hips, the hamstrings, and the lower back can be a little tense. So just do what you can. Breathe. Inhaling, breathing in a deep breath, and exhaling, allowing ease and peace to come into your practice. 2 more breaths, and then we're going to go on to the other side. Unwind the fingertips. Bring them out from the place where they were weaved in. You can bring your left foot down to the ground and then place your right foot on the ground. The knees are bent. And now we're going to take the right foot and we're going to tabletop the leg. We're going to take the left and bring it right on top of the right thigh, interlacing the fingers behind the leg or on top of the shin. And we're just weaving those hands in between that hole. Right hand is on the outside, left hand goes in between the hole. Again, you can wiggle back and forth if it's in your practice. Allowing the breath to be steady, finding a rhythm that works for you. And remember, this is an active pose. Even though we're in laying down poses, we're completely active. Active with the breath, in our bodies, our muscles. 2 more breaths. Place the right foot back down on the ground, unwind the hands. Bring the left foot and the right foot onto the mat. Knees remain bent. Bring your hands down by the side. You can actually hear the plop. It's really important to have your hands down on the side because we want to use these hands in our bridge pose to help us lift up our hips. And as we inhale, I want you to press the hips up towards the ceiling. Breathe in and out. Squeeze the core. Imagine that you had like hacky sacks on your hips and those hacky sacks are up in the air. It's like you can almost pop them up and they would actually lift up off your hip body. And then gently lower down vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down to the lowest part of the back body where the sacrum is. Be gentle as you press your hips down to the ground. We're going to come back up. We're going to do this 4 times in all. So inhale, bring the hips back up. Coming back into your bridge pose. You're welcome, if you like, to take your arms, interlace the fingers, and you can press up a little bit more in your chest body. You don't have to. If you want to keep your hands by your side, you can. And then gently start to lower back down, breath by breath, vertebrae by vertebrae. Pause for a moment. And then on the next inhale, use that strength. Inhale, press up, squeezing the core. It's very important that we get strength in our mid-body. Great job. Beautiful bridge. I see such a beautiful bridge over there. Amazing. And then gently lower back down, all the way down to the mat. And then on the last one, really make it count, pressing up, squeezing the core, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the thighs. Imagine that there's maybe even a block in between your legs. And on the next exhale, lower down, steady, steady and easy. Exhaling and letting go. There we are, yes. Yes, beautiful. Back down we go with our hips to the mat. Breathe in and out. Next, we're going to come up to a boat pose. So we're going to come up into a seated position. How you get up is up to you, but if you can squeeze the core and see if you can just come up from the belly. If you have to roll to the left or the right and come up, you're welcome to do that as well. Now, in boat, you can have your feet up or you can have your feet on the ground, okay? Just pressing your toes into the mat and having the heels hover, okay? You're leaning back slightly, leaning up. Now, if it's in your practice to lift up your feet, you can. It's your choice. And we're just going to hold this for a few moments. We're not doing anything else. This is going to prepare us for our bicycle crunches. Inhale and exhale. Gently place the feet back down on the ground. Slowly start to roll the back down, but keep the shoulders off the ground and bring your hands behind your head. And then bring your right knee towards your chest. Take your left elbow and bring your left elbow towards the right knee. And then reverse. Right elbow towards the left knee. And then we go back and forth. Now, if at any time you need to stop this or you feel like bicycle is just not part of your practice today, you don't have to do it. Just come back to a position in boat where you're squeezing the core in any position that works for you, whether it's modified or legs up. 2 more. 1 more. And drop the hands. Drop the feet. All right, beautiful. We're going to drop both the legs over towards the left side, roll over, and press ourselves up. Okay, we're going to come into a seated position. You can bring your feet into butterfly pose, pressing the feet together. Start to wiggle the legs, wiggle the thighs, just to kind of open up your hips and open up the butterfly. Then bring your hands behind you so that you are in a position where you're getting length in your spine. Okay, and I'll turn around all the way so you can see. All right, and then pivoting the chest up. So hands are behind you for support. Beautiful. Yes. Breathe in and breathe out. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the right knee, and I want you to just wiggle the right knee. And then bring the right foot onto the mat. Take your left foot and just tuck it underneath so that it comes towards the right sits bone. And then bring your right foot, if you can, now it's if you can, over the left knee. All right, we're going to lift up through the pelvic bowl, and then we're going to twist the body towards the right side, bring our right hand behind us, and then looking over the right shoulder. And I'll show you what that looks like from this position. And we're taking our eyesight gaze behind us in a way that is very intentional, because wherever you take your gaze to is likely how your body is going to twist into the pose. And as you inhale, allow yourself to lengthen in the spine. And then on the exhale, maybe go to your boundary and your twist. Just gently touching it, not going over it. Pausing and breathing. And if you want to hook over completely with your hand up, you're welcome to do that, but you don't have to. You can just hold on to the leg. It's your choice. Two more breaths. Be kind and gentle as you unwind and bring your feet back into butterfly pose. Hands behind you once again to get the length. We don't have to rush. We don't have nowhere to go. Feel the inner thighs as you breathe through. Imagine again that that breath can make it all the way to your toes. And notice how when you use your breath, the legs start to relax on their own. You don't have to force it. Then we're going to come on to the other side. So take our left leg, wiggle the left leg, and then bring the foot onto the mat. Right? And then we're going to take the right foot and we're going to do the same thing. So the right foot now is going to come down to the left sits bone. The left leg is going to cross over. We're going to twist our bodies if we can. We can just bring our elbow on top of that knee, or you can hook it over and have your hand up. But make sure you're looking over towards the left side and take the gaze behind you. Again, bringing the inhale in so that you get length in the spine. And then on the exhale, you twist deeper into the pose. Feeling yourself brush just up against the edge of that boundary. Nice spinal twist. And every inhale and exhale is going to pull and tug until your body completely relaxes and softens. Breathe in and out. We're going to come back to center, bringing the feet once again back into butterfly pose. And bring the hands behind you. If you want to wrap your fingertips around, if it's in your practice, wrap them around your toes and just press the chest forward. Drop the chin into the chest. And take about 3 breath cycles here to just completely stay one with the breath and with the way the body feels in this pose. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath and then back to your feet and your hands. We're going to rise back up. We're going to take our right leg, wiggle it, and I want you to stretch the right leg down in front of you so that the foot is flexed. You're going to take your left foot and you're just going to cross it on top, okay? So the knee is poking out in front of you. The left foot is actually now placed on the right side. You're going to take your fingertips and wrap them around your knee. Now, mind you, this can look very different for everybody. So just try to find that place that you feel like you're able to get the foot over towards the other side. Fingertips wrapped around the knee, and then gently sit up tall and then just lean forward so that you can feel the stretch on the hamstring. Keep the right foot flexed. So the toes are waving hello. If you don't know what flex means, it means toes are waving hello. And then use the breath to stretch, to assist in the stretch. The hamstrings and the back of the knee can get really tight, especially if we sit a lot. So this is a really good stretch to just gently, with ease, lengthen those muscles and those tendons. Nothing to do and nowhere to go but to breathe. We're going to gently rise up. Use your fingertips to help you bring your left leg back over towards the left side. Drop the left leg down so that the toes are flexing. You're going to not interlace the fingers, you're going to reach the fingers up towards the sky and then soften the knees, okay? And then come down into a forward fold, a seated forward fold. Now, your knees have space in between them, but if you want to start to drop them down, you can. Notice the way your left side feels from your right. Let the chin tuck into the chest. Let it be a breath by breath moment. Slowly we're going to rise back up. First our belly, our chest, and then our head. And then we're going to come on to the other side. All right, so your left leg is going to stay straight. The foot is going to remain flexed. You're going to take your right foot and cross it over so that the knee is pointing forward. And your right foot is laying or somewhere on this left side. If, and fingers are interlaced. Sit up a little bit taller and then just lean forward until you feel a mild stretch on the hamstrings. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can, but just allow yourself to start out mild. And then as you press your belly and your chest towards your knee, you'll feel that stretch intensify. And only go to your boundary and nothing more. And use the breath as your guide and as your friend. One more breath. We rise back up, belly, chest, and head. Unwind the leg. Drop both legs in front of you, keeping the knees soft. Arms reach up, lifting up overhead, and then we come forward into our seated forward fold. Now both sides of our body have been stretched. The hamstrings feel a little bit different. And as it is in your practice, you can slowly start to lower the legs down. And if it's not in your practice, you don't have to do it. You also don't have to touch your toes. Like if you are feeling not so flexible today, you're welcome to just let your fingertips gently touch on the tops of your thighs or right on your forelegs where your shins are. So you don't have to touch the toes, but it's there for you. And breathe. And gently we're going to come back up, belly, chest, and head. And then we're going to extend the legs out, all right? So this is going to be really great because we're going to feel this nice long stretch now on the inside of our thighs, all right? So the first thing that we want to do is we want to just start to walk your right fingertips down your right leg. You can soften the knees, right? And you can try to go for either the ankles or the toes. And then your left hand rises up and look up, taking that gaze up. And breathe in and out. And then on the exhale, bring that left hand down so that it graces the belly. And then square your right and your left hand with the right foot. And your hands can be right on the side or they can be touching the toes. It's your choice. Try to keep your left sits bone grounded onto the mat. And then gently we'll come back up to center. Arms reach up overhead. And then we're going to take our left hand and we're going to bring it down towards the leg, whether it's on the ankle or the toes. Remember, you can soften in the knee if you need to. Right hand is up. It rises towards the ceiling. Gaze is up, looking at the inside of that right hand. And just continue to breathe. On your next exhale, allow the hand to come down, gracing the belly, squaring now your right and your left hand around. So you're framing your left leg, dropping the chin to the chest, keeping your right sits bone grounded onto the mat. If you want to reach for your toes, you can. That's really a personal preference. We'll come back up and we'll rise back up. And then we're going to bring our hands behind us, press up on our chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. Bring our legs into a cross-legged position. We have about 2 or 3 more poses to do, and then we're going to start to transition and go up. Just start to breathe in and out. We're going to drop our chin to our chest. We're going to do some head rolls. Bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. And just stay there for a moment. You don't have to do anything else but breathe. One breath in, one breath out. That's all you can do at any given time. Chin back to the center chest. And then we're going to roll over, left ear to the left shoulder. Back to center chest. And then see if you want to go in for any special head rolls. Like if you want to do a full 360-degree head roll, you can. If you only want to do half, back and forth, you can. Or if you just want to hold your right side and then hold your left, you can do that as well. And take about 10 breath cycles to do this, making the decisions that work best for your body, empowering yourself to make those decisions, and using the breath as a guide and a supporter. Beautiful. Let me come back to center. You're going to take your right hand, so wiggle your right hand, bring your right hand and just start to walk it on the right side of your mat. If you want to bring your elbow down all the way, you can, but you don't have to. And then take your left hand and look up. And what you're going to be doing is feeling a nice stretch in your rib cage, down, rooted into your hips and your sits bone are rooted into the ground. And as you breathe in, let the breath fill up the rib cage. But only bring your breath in as much as you feel comfortable. Gently bring that left hand back down. Come back to center. And then we're going to walk the left hand now over towards the left side. Right arm is up. Gaze is up. Each side could be different. So wherever you want to drop that elbow to, you can, or you don't have to. But try to just keep your sits bone rooted into the ground. It has a tendency to want to roll up. So you want to try to be intentional about keeping it glued to your mat. Come back to center. Full body is back up. And before we transition, we're going to do a little bit of shoulder work. So bring the shoulders up and then roll them back 4 times forward, matching the breath to the movement. 4 times back. Yep, beautiful. And you're just still breathing. You're moving and breathing. Awesome. We're going to take our arms. We're going to lift them up overhead. You're going to wiggle your left fingertips and bring your left fingertips down. And then your right arm is going to sit right inside of the inside of that left arm. Okay? And then if you can, you're going to bind your hands and come into eagle pose, keeping your elbows out in front of you. If eagle pose is too difficult, just come into a hug where you're hugging, your fingertips are on your shoulder blades, okay? But for this part of the practice, I'm going to use eagle. And just stay there for a moment, maybe back bending slightly, lifting the elbows up towards the ceiling if it's in your practice, or staying engaged right here, using the full upper body to help support your eagle pose. And gently unwind the arms. Just let them flutter back and forth. Rest the arms for a second. And then arms are going to come up, reaching up overhead. So take your right fingertips, wiggle the right fingertips, and bring the right hand down. It's almost like you're holding something in a graceful way. Then the left arm is going to come down to the inside of that right, and you're going to bring those elbows up, bind the hands. If it's in your practice to come into eagle, and if eagle is just not there today, you can always modify and just hug yourself, keeping your elbows up away from the chest. The trick with this is, whether you modify or you're doing eagle, to always keep the elbows away from the chest. If you want to back bend slightly, you can. It's not necessary, but you're welcome to do it. And then unwind the arms. And let's just bring them back and forth. Beautiful. So we're going to come into a tabletop position. So you want to kick your feet, kick them out, and come into this position where your hands are placed on the mat about shoulders length apart and your knees are about hips width apart. What I like to do in tabletop, and if you're on a hard ground, you may want to do this too, is I like to bend my mat in half just so I have some support on my knees. If you're on if this mat is on a rug, you may not feel the same way about that. So, just make the decision that's best for you. And your toes can be tucked under. We're just going to just get acquainted with this pose now that we've transitioned. You're going to take your right foot and wiggle the right toes and then stretch out the right foot behind you. Inhale and exhale, just hold it where it is. And then try to bring the knee to the nose. In theory, you're going to draw it in and then press it back out 2 times. 1 more time. So you do 3 times in all. Stretch it back out. And then take the leg, and I want you to cross that right leg over towards the left side and just drop the toes on the left side. Feel the stretch on the right hips. Keep your hands grounded into the mat. Now, you don't have to go very far. I just happen to want to really stretch out my hips right now. So just go where you feel most comfortable. Feel the strength in your arms keep you supported. Then we're going to undo that, bring the right leg up, and then bring it back to ease. And before we go on to the other side, I want you to come into a child's pose. Now your child's pose can be with your hips together and your knees together or apart, but you're going to sit your hips down by your ankles and then bring your forehead down to the mat and just take a break. And this is really important for the wrist. So while you're down here, just kind of rotate the wrist out so that when we come on to the left side in our tabletop that your wrists are not fatigued, okay? And just take about 3 or 4 breath cycles here to embrace this child's pose. Gently, we're going to come back up, pressing our hands into the mat, using the strength in our arms to help us reposition and just gain our sense of structure, putting ourselves back into a tabletop position, squeezing the core, making sure that our arms and shoulders are in the right spot, shoulders length apart. We're going to take the left foot, press it back, extending the full length of the thigh down towards the knees and the knees down towards the ankles towards the foot itself. The sole of the foot is like on the wall behind us. Then take the knee, tuck it towards the chest, towards the nose, and press it back out. Inhaling, you're pressing the foot away. Exhaling, you're bringing the knee to the nose. 3 times in all. And then extend back out. Once you get to your third time, stay where you are, and then you're going to take that left foot and you're going to cross it over towards the right side. You're feeling that hip on the left side now, getting that nice intense stretch. Breathe in and breathe out. No rushing. We're going to bring the foot back up, back to center, knees back to tabletop, and then find your child's pose just so you can do that twisting on your wrist. Each child's pose can be different, so I invite you to play around with it a little bit. And then gently we're going to come back up, tabletop position. All right. We're going to take the right foot, press it back out again. And this time we're going to take the left hand and bring it out in front of us. So now we're going to balance ourselves, holding ourselves here for as long as we can. If you need to modify, bring the tips of your toes on the right side down to the mat. Left hand extends out. If you can keep your balance, then please, by all means, try to go for the full extension. Hands come back down to the mat. Now we're going to do the left side. So left foot extends out, right hand comes forward, body's being pulled in 2 different directions. If you need to modify, bring those toes down to the mat or down to the ground. Otherwise, go in for that full balance. Breathe in and out. And then hands come back into the mat, back into tabletop. Okay, if you want, you can just take your fists and press them into the ground just so that you can get a little bit of relaxation off your wrist. And then press your hands back into the mat. What we're going to do now is a cat-cow, and then we're going to start to move upwards into a standing position. So we're going to exhale all the stale air out of our body and start to tilt our back body up, dropping the chin to the chest, pressing our hips down, coming into a scared cat. On the next inhale, breathe in, look up, gaze up, arch the back body so that the belly starts to protrude down towards the mat. The navel is pressing closer towards the mat. The hips are up, the head is up. Then we reverse, coming back into our scared cat pose. And when we come back, belly down towards the ground, head up, this is our cow. And do this about 3 or 4 more times. Breathing in and out as you do it. Find your rhythm. And then I want to offer you the opportunity for the next 20 breath cycles to just start to move your body in any position that feels the most comfortable for you or that I missed. If there's a particular pose that you feel like you wanted to do and I didn't offer it, take this time to just move through the motions. If you want to just stay in one spot and just hold, say, a child's pose, you're welcome to do that as well. So you can go through a flow kind of moment, or you can go into more of a hold kind of moment where you're just holding the pose in Hatha. 10 more breath cycles. Really move your body in a way that makes you happy. Like, make this decision for yourself. 5 more breath cycles. 2 and 1. If you can, if your mat is up and flipped, you may want to bring that back. So now that you have the full length of the mat to work with, gently we're going to start to lift up our knees and come into our first downward facing dog of the class. Just start to walk it out. Now, as you're coming up, you're just gently pulling up, and then you're going to have your hands pressed onto the ground in a way that supports you. So the knuckles of your palm are pressed into the mat, your belly presses towards the thighs. If your toes are up, that's fine. You can just pedal the heels up and down. Two more breaths. And then we're going to slowly start to walk the feet towards the hands and the hands towards the feet until we come into a standing forward fold. And here you can just kind of loosen the body, maybe even shake the hands around in circles, allowing for the sense of freedom on your wrists because you did a lot of work on your wrists. So you want to kind of rotate them a little bit. Inhale and exhale. Slowly, we're going to start to soften the knees and just come up vertebrae by vertebrae all the way into a standing position. And at the time that you're doing this, though, you're still using the lower part of your body, pressing your feet firmly into the ground, lifting up through your thighs, lifting through your belly, your chest, your head, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way into a standing pose, a standing mountain pose. You can open up your hands, open up your heart, take your chin up towards the sky. Just breathe in and out. And just pause for a moment, right? We're just coming up to a standing position from sitting for a period of time. We need a moment to just gain a sense of self here. Get our composure back. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to take our knees, we're going to gently bend them slightly, bring our hands down in front of us, and then come up into a quick chair pose. When I say quick, what all that means is that we're not staying in it long. And then we're going to press back up, back into standing, back bending slightly. On the exhale, bring the hands back down, bend the knees slightly, bring the arms up, stay kind of bent like you're sitting in a chair. Then come back up, back bend slightly, hands come down in front of you. Lower back down, arms come back up, and this time try to hold it for a few moments. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, lift out the pelvic bowl, squeeze the core, keep the weight into your feet equally distributed, both in your toes and your ankles and your heels. And then come back up to standing and bring the hands back down by the side. We're going to open up the legs and come into goddess pose. Taking our toes on the right side, placing them towards the right, toes on the left, towards the left. Bring the arms up so that the shoulders are straight, but the hands are parallel to one another. And just sit here for a few moments. Feel the burn inside of the thighs. Feel the core maybe pressing the pelvic bowl body a little bit forward, lifting up through the chest. And then bring the arms down by the side, straightening out the legs. You're going to take your right foot and now you're going to go completely over towards the right side. Your left foot is going to kind of stay on that same angle as it was in that goddess pose. So once you feel like you're comfortable, you're kind of in this lunge position, I want you to bring your right hand or your right arm onto the top of your right thigh. Take your left hand, lift it up, and take the gaze up. Coming into side angle. Press more into the outer rim of your left foot to get a little bit more length. Squeeze the thigh. Allow those fingertips to rise up. Just breathe. If you want to bring your hand in one straight line of energy, you can, bringing it overhead, or you can keep it up so that it's facing the ceiling. It's your choice. Then you're going to bring your hand straight, pointing towards the left side and lift out. So it's like somebody's pulling your hand out. Come back into that triangle position with your legs, like when we came out of Goddess. And then we're going to bring our left foot over towards the left wall. Okay? Right foot now is still kind of pivoted towards the front of the room. It's about a 45-degree angle. Find the right range in between your legs, and then bring your left forearm onto your left thigh. Right hand comes up, side angle on your left side. Again, if you want to go in for that full long line of energy, you can, or you can just keep the hand up and go in for that lift and length. At no time do you want to slouch. You want to be completely aware of all the muscles in your body that are part of this pose. Breathing and exhaling, allowing. You're going to take that right hand now, bring it straight, and allow it to pull you out of the pose. All right, here's your feet. Back into that triangle pose, and then we're going to toe heel our feet back together. We're going to do one more standing pose, and then we're going to come down to the ground and get ready to close class. If you have a wall near you, you're welcome to use the wall, but you don't have to. There's 3 different ways to do tree pose. So I want you to just lean your weight back and forth from the left to the right. And then bring most of your weight shifted onto the right side. Take the heel on the left side and just bring the heel right above the right ankle, keeping the toes on the ground. And as we do this, we want to lift through the pelvic bowl, lift up. And when I say the pelvic bowl, that's this area from hip to hip. It also includes the sacrum and some of the lower belly area. So you want to lift through that. Allow the rib cage to then rise up towards the chest, but keep the shoulders steady. And then if you want to place your hands anywhere into like your tree position, you can. Now, if you want to go into the next phase of this, that's placing your left foot in between the foreleg on your right side. Never on the knee, never on the ankle, but in between. Or your foot is actually on the inside of your thigh. These are all different poses for tree modification, and you can hold on to a wall if you need to. Okay, I'm going to go somewhere in between. And continue to breathe through the full length of the body. Imagine that that breath can go into the roots of your feet. And as you feel that, feel this push away from the ground. Bring the left foot down to the mat and just shake out the right foot. Yeah, definitely shake it out. And then we're going to shift our weight over towards the left side. Bring the right heel up, place the right heel right above the right ankle, lift through the pelvic bowl body. Now, if you want to go into the modified positions, you can. Any place that you feel like you want to go works for you. It's okay if you're a little wobbly, but just don't fall. Hold on to the wall if you need to. And then find a place for your arms. And within this, you're building from the ground up, allowing the breath to be completely part of this part of the practice. Okay, all the way from the feet to the crown of the head. Hands come back down by the side. Gently bring the foot back down to the mat and then shake out the left side. And before we go down, let's just do this thing I love to do. I know it seems simple, but it's just opening up the legs and just kind of twisting back and forth. Gives you a moment to just be like a kid. Just let it all go. Just have fun with it. Smile, giggle, breathe, all of that. Yes. Okay. And then we're going to head down to the ground. Now, the way you head down to the ground is up to you. I always like to offer coming through and down into frog pose, but you don't have to. So I'm going to offer it, but just come down in the way you feel most comfortable. Bringing, for those that are doing frog pose with me, I'm bringing my elbows to the inside of my legs. My knees are open. I'm just breathing in and out. And then I'll press my hands onto the ground and scooch my body forward. We want to come through a tabletop position and just lower down. Knees are on the mat. We're lowering down, bringing our chest onto the ground, stretching out our legs. Okay? Your elbows are by your sides, your shoulders are by your sides. Your arms are by your shoulders, I should say. I don't know. Your shoulders are by your sides. I keep saying it wrong. But we're going to come up into a cobra pose so that you're in the position, elbows on the mat, shoulders are hugging your sides. That's what I meant to say. Look up, gaze up, press and ground your hips into the floor beneath you. Stretch out your legs behind you. Nice cobra pose. And just breathe in and out. You're going to lower your chest back down. Keep your arms where they are. We're going to do one more cobra. We're just pausing for a moment. Come back up. Cobra pose. Pressing once again our forearms into the mat. Elbows are in the mat, but the upper body lifts up. Chest is up. The chin rises. The eye-side gaze goes up as well. And breathe. We're going to come back, chest to the mat, and then you're going to roll over onto your back body. Okay? If you want to bend your knees, you can. It's up to you. You can have your legs straight. You're going to close the eyes. Let's just take a few breaths in and out. Bring your knees to your chest. You're going to drop your left knee down to the ground. Drop your left leg down to the ground and just cross your right leg over. This will be our final pose as we close class. We're going to look over towards our right side. Keep our right knee onto the left and just feel like your breath helps your spine to loosen a little bit more, and little by little the leg can start to relax. You might even feel a little crack in your back body, and that's perfectly normal. Gently come back to center. Bring the knees to the chest. Drop the right leg down now. And take the left leg, cross it over. Look over towards your right side. Or your left side. Breathe in and breathe out. It's just a breath by breath experience. Come back to center. If you want to do any final poses, you're welcome to. It's all up to you. Otherwise, we're going to bring our legs down for Savasana. Or if you need to, you can keep them bent. You can sky flip the hands or place the hands on the belly and close your eyes. Start to relax the body from the feet to the crown of the head, letting go of any remaining things, whether it's stress or tension, and inviting a sense of accomplishment. Maybe even congratulating yourself on a job well done for coming to class today. I'm going to ring the singing bowl and read a quick quote. I'm going to continue to stay in Savasana. For hatred does not cease by hatred at any time. Hatred ceases by love. This is an old rule. Continue to just breathe. Allow yourself to completely be immersed in this moment with your breath and body. You're welcome to meditate as long as you like by leaving this session now or turning this video off. Otherwise, we will close class together. When you're ready, you can come to a position where you roll to your left or your right side. Taking your time as you start to push up, come back into a seated position. Take a few more breaths. Allow your eyesight, gaze to fixate on the world around you, coming back into focus. Maybe smile. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you and hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thank you.